Hey folks, hope you're doing good today. We got to Friday again already, man. The weeks go quick. Today I fancied checking out some heavy, hardcore bands. Some of these bands call themselves experimental metalcore. Doesn't really matter. They're all super heavy, aggressive bands with a great energy. That's what I wanted to hear today. I've lined up 5 bands for us as well, so we get a good long listen today. Yesterday's vid was quite long, but man, I enjoyed it so much. The music yesterday, that was absolutely amazing. These bands sound amazing as well. Let's get straight into it. This first band's called Racehorse. Their track is called Racehorse. Here we go. Repetitious build into these guys. I dig it. I like the wailing guitars over the top as well. Sick one. Bringing in the double bass there towards the end, just notched it up that last extra gear just towards the end. Nice decision to bring that in just there. Very, very cool. These guys had a great sound. Rickenbackers and orange amps. That's a sick combo. Works very, very nicely. I love that bass guitar. I think that's probably my favorite bass guitar in terms of shape, but it's got a great tone to it as well. Every time I see it in a video, you can always hear it cutting through the mix. It's got it. Something about the Rickenbacker pickups that just give a certain kind of tone to the bass, and even the guitar tones as well, that cuts through differently to other pickups. That's why it's a great combo to work with an orange amp, because it's got that stringiness, that jangliness. It's almost like a P90 pickup, but it's got its own tone to it. Sick. Great drumming in this one as well. Love the big washy cymbal to open it up into the wider parts, shouting and screaming. Sick. Great energy in that one. Let's keep the energy going. Move on to this next band. This next band's called Fallfiftyfeet. Their track is called Parting Gift. This one's a bit newer. Yeah, it's from end of April. Let's check it out. Yeah. Very cool manliness to it.
Shared with me, clouding my psyche with all of the guts inside. And this love is bleeding with all of the guts inside. And this heart is bleeding with all of the guts inside. And this love is bleeding with all of the guts inside. When our love becomes disease,
Yeah.
get out of it.
Dope. Great tone on that bass. Let's have a breakdown to the bass. Sounds great. Dope.
To anyone, all what I did. Secrets kept, the things we left. I wish you nothing but the best.
This guy's got a few edges to him. Sick. That's twice now where the drummers have kicked it up just right at the end there, taking it to the max gear with some blast beats this time instead of just double bass. But man, yes, sick. What a great way to end the track as well. Thought these guys sounded amazing, talking about guitars and amps and stuff. I'm not sure what amps they use. Interesting that these guys use Telecasters, which again is a great choice for hardcore music. If you want to run it through an orange amp or really pretty much whatever amp works well, as long as it's a high distortion amp, because with the Telecasters, a bit like the Rickenbackers, they've got the single coil pickup. It's not just a big dirty humbucker, and because of that you get a certain kind of tone coming through, more of a stringiness. It works well for the hardcore sound. And it worked well for these guys because they had more of a riffiness in there, which sounded great. But actually, when they went into the chordy parts and the thicker parts, it had a real chunk to it as well. So yeah, they did a great job with the guitar tones in this one. It's real heavy for the chunk, but also got a nice stringiness for the more riffy stuff. Drummer was working with the riffs super nice in this track as well, working the snare, working the cymbals to go along with the riffs like a musical drummer, and give, just punch it out and accent the riffs even more. Just aggressive vocals in this kind of music. That's what you expect. That's what you want in this kind of music. They did have those extra edges in there, more of a jazzy stuff and coming in there, and a cleaner edge, which was nice to break it up. These last two bands now, they've been quite stabby and, broken up, pauses and silence within the music as well. Very, very cool. I'm enjoying it a lot. Let's move on to this next band, and this band's called Limbs. Their track is called Necro Police. This one's a bit older again, from 2020. Here we go. These guys are loud. crazy guitar tone in this one. Loving the bass in these bands as well today, killing it. Sick one. Loud, aggressive, with that digital edges that in there as well. Crazy guitar tone. Love the bass tone in there as well. I love that all the bands today have broke it down to the bass for us, because I just think that sounds sick every time that any band ever does it. But yeah, man, deep and dirty bass with a great tone, aggressive vocals, but sat back in the mix a bit as well, so they're in there with all the distortion and everything else. Sick. What a great energy to this track as well. Hardcore jump up beat and just into some heavy aggressive sound. It's had a harshness to it, this one, probably because it was so loud as well and just pumped up, but it suited the music, went well with the music, went well with the whole energy of the track. It needed to be pumped up and loud. Yes, what a great job. Let's move on to this next band. This band is called Chamber. Their track is called In Cleansing Fire. Again, this one's from 2020, so a couple of 2020 tracks today. We've had loads of tings on the ride as well from all the drummers. Loving that. Musical drumming to go along with the riffs. Those drums kick ass. Yeah. That was a sick section. These guys are heavy. Dope. Man, that had some real heavy sections in there. The bass really rocked the low end. Great, heavy, thick guitars. Distortion on the vocal, which sounded amazing as well. Sat it in the mix great. But particularly on this one, the drums just had such an amazing tone to them. The way they'd been EQ'd and I think gated as well, because they had a real tight slap to them, but with weight behind it as well, which is a real fine line to just get that right. But man, the drums in this one sounded absolutely amazing. When he's rattling down the toms and stuff, just added a weight and heaviness to this music. It's what is so friggin' heavy. Loving it, man. We're absolutely killing it today. We're going to finish off with this last band today, and that's just 5 bands where I'm an instant fan of all these bands. I think they're all new to the channel as well. I don't think we've had any of these bands on before. Instant fan. Going to have to get on board with all these bands, get them back on the channel in the future. But we'll finish off with this last band, Funeral Singer. The track is Child Met with a Bomb. Here we go. Sick. Sick. Some real heavy sections in this one. What a great track. What a sick day we've had on the channel today. There is 5 absolutely dope on a rope bands. As sick as hell, heavy as hell, nice and modern as well. All got a nice modern fat pumped up mix. It just blows your ear holes out. Got it up nice and loud as well to make sure that it does, because that's what you want from this music. The guitars come across with a real power, but as well, we've got those nice jangly tones in because of the certain guitars that they're using and stuff in there, and amp combos. which I could talk about all day because I'm really interested in that kind of stuff. But it's really nice to see it in these bands using the kind of the guitar, not just a regular humbucker guitar, you know, that most people gravitate towards. Using those single core pickups, using those P90s or Rickenbacker pickups and stuff, because all of that kind of stuff makes a difference to your tone, stands you out from other bands that just use your standard kind of guitar and pickups and stuff like that. So when you think about that kind of stuff, one of the ways to just kind of separate yourself from other bands, and all these bands have done that nicely today. They've all had their own separate tone on the guitar and in the bass as well. I've heard the bass cut through in every single band, which is super nice to hear in this music because it wasn't always the case in heavy hardcore. It was normally just very guitar driven, and the bass kind of just supported the guitars. Nowadays, the bass does its own thing, and not only that, it's got its own tone, so it cuts through the guitars and you can hear it doing its own thing. Super nice. It has extra layer of heaviness to the music because it's normally a distorted tone as well. It just thickens up the low end and makes it even heavier. The drummers today have been absolutely sick. Great kit sounds, working the toms to bring even more weight and heaviness into this music. Well, that's one of the reasons why this music sounds so heavy, because it's not only the guitar and the bass that they're heavy and the singer's screaming his head off, but the drums are weighty and heavy and there's a lot of tom work or a big washy cymbal, and all of that stuff just fills out the sound and makes it even heavier. But as I say, the singers as well in all the bands screaming their head off. We're not talking about melodic stuff in this kind of music. It's just screaming, aggressive, shouting vocals with a manly power behind it. Absolutely love it. Suits the music. I don't want to hear melodic stuff and all of that in this kind of music. Maybe a bit of spoken word if you break it down. I'm happy with that. But otherwise, I just want you screaming and shouting. That's what these dudes have all done today, and they've all had super dope tones and screams and passion and anger and emotion coming through the vocal, which is what I want to hear. Sick. 5 super dope bands to check out. I'll be following along with all of these bands from now on because I'm an instant fan. Pretty much like yesterday's video, I pulled out the absolute cream of the crop that was in the hardcore queue today. Although I have still got a bunch of other bands that are just as good as these guys, so there will be more to come. But yeah, I thought, man, I want to check out some real super dope bands today. So this is what we got. I wasn't wrong. Very, very nice bands. I'm happy to check out any bands like this every single day. So hope you've enjoyed the show today, guys. Hope you have a good Friday. If you're going to gigs and stuff over the weekend, just be safe and stuff, because a lot of people are catching COVID doing that stuff. So, you know, just be safe. So we'll see you around, guys. See you over the weekend for some cool new bands. If you want to get your band on the channel, all the links are in the description. See you around, guys. Bye.